Hey guys, it's Aaron Garnier. Let's learn how to change your app to use dark and light mode in Xamarin.Forms. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new project using Xamarin.Forms. I'm going to create a brand new project, Xamarin.Forms C# Windows Mobile, and let's call it the Playground Aaron Garnier. What we're going to do is we're going to do a flyout program for this example. I want to start it from scratch so you guys know I'm using the latest versions of Xamarin.Forms. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly change my NuGet packages and get the newest version of Xamarin.Forms that just came out. So I'm going to click Manage Packages, Updates, Select All, Update. And you have to remember to do that for your Android as well as your iOS solutions. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So after we're updated to the newest version, which might not be necessary in your application, but I'm just going to do that so you're aware of which version I'm using for this video and when this video was released. Alright, so now that we're up to date, so after you change the NuGet packages, you're going to have to change the target framework possibly for the Android. So if you get an error message when you're building your project, just change the Android version here to 10.0 and plus, so 11.0 you can use as well. I'll just use 10 for this example. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you to begin what the actual app looks like, and this is just the default Xamarin.Forms application that you can open, and it's just a great starting point that you can look at to make sure we're on the same page. Alright, so here's the app. So in light mode right now, you can see that the background is white, and under Browse, the background again is white, and then you have a background for your tab flyout that is white. So what we're going to do when we build this application is we want to be able to use, when you change your setting here to dark mode, to change those white colors to gray or another scale. So if I change to the app to dark theme and I come back to the application, what we wanted to do is automatically change this to a grayscale application. So to get started, I'm going to stop debugging and we're going to look at some of our files here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to move to the side. So here are your folders again. If you look, we're not going to really worry about the Android or iOS applications here. We're just going to look straight at the common files. You have your app.xaml and your app.shell.xaml. We're going to spend most of our time in there. To begin, we'll just show you what the app.xaml looks like after that opens up. What you'll see, let me minimize this, zoom in. Alright, so your app.xaml doesn't really have much of the code in here for actually picking colors of objects. That's going to be under your app shell. This resource dictionary is just going to cover the target type of button. So anytime you type in a button, it's going to look in here for the colors. The background color of your button is going to be this static resource primary, and the visual state of a disabled button is going to be this value here. So to find that primary value, it's actually going to be hitting the app shell. Oops, sorry. It's actually just hitting this value here, your X key primary. So that's where that color is drawn from. So if I change this from 6 to 8, let's say, I don't know. I'm just going to actually change this to another color completely. Let's say it's black or something. It'll change this value to black, so you can see how those are connected as an example. So we're not going to change that color of the button here, so we're not going to worry about this page besides showing you that. So the next thing I'm going to open up is app.shell.xaml. In the shell file itself, what you'll notice is this is where most of your color choices that are going to be used as a general across the whole program are going to be put in here. So your base styles are going to be here as well. So if you look here, your tab bar background color is going to be blue, foreground color is going to be white, title color is white, background value color. So these are, a lot of these are just going to be like your title bars and things like that. So if I relaunch the application, I'll point you in those directions of where that is. So scrolling down further into the page, we're going to see the flyout item label styles, flyout item layout style, and menu item layout style. So these are the styles for each of those different items. So for example, let's just pull up the program. I'm on my about page. If you notice, some of these colors look familiar. So your title bar is going to be pulling from the background color, foreground color of white, and title color of white. You know, that's your text you're seeing here. And then these colors are going to be your flyout item colors that are going to be here. So your label styles and layout style. So to get this app to look a little better in light and dark mode, what we're going to do is we're going to change these values. So to start, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a new style. And we're going to call this style, we're going to do a style of target type. Let's stop the debugger so we don't get the underlines here. And we're going to do this, we're going to change the color of all of our content pages to gray from white. So when you click through the tabs, now the background of all the pages are going to be gray instead of white if we're in dark mode. So important thing to note is you have to apply to derived types. And a little tip is if you hold down F1, if you highlight what you want to search and hit F1, you can actually pull up the documentation for Xamarin.Forms styles, and you can actually read what this means. So this controls whether the styles should be applied to controls that are derived from the base style. So this one doesn't have as much detail as some of the other documentation has, but it basically will allow it to show on all pages. So after we say that, that's going to be our style. So for content pages is what we care about to begin with. We're gonna set up a setter, and that setter is going to be of property, and you can see down the list here we can pick a background color. So now we're going to change your background color. So we're almost there. So now this is the key of the video here. If you want to use light and dark themes, you want to use this new feature called app theme binding. So if I click app theme binding, then you're allowed to choose what happens in light and dark mode. So as you see right here, dark, default, and light. So let's pick light mode to begin. So light, we want the background theme to be white. So all you do is you type in white. And then for dark, you put a comma in the binding, dark, and then you put the dark color. So let's pick gray for this application. Okay, so now we're going to close that setter, and now we have an application where the content pages are going to be light in light mode and white in light mode and gray in dark mode. Okay, so when I deploy this, what you'll notice is that there are some other features in there that aren't actually changing colors. So you'll just see the content pages dark, but not the tab views, the tab flyout menu, and things like that. Now that I changed the app theme binding for the background color on the content pages, I want to open the application. We'll take a look at what it looks like. So when I relaunch the application, just so you know, I did go in the settings and change it back to light mode, so this will actually launch in light mode. What you'll see right off the bat is that your application here looks the same. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my settings, and then I'm going to change the display to dark theme, and then I'm going to go back into my application, and you'll see now the background color is gray, so we're good with that. That's what we wanted it to be. So right now, if you can tell, this is still white, which is going to be kind of obnoxious to a user if you click the flyout, so we're going to want to change that. And now we'll actually look at some of the contents of the pages. So this page looks like it turned to gray, which is good, and our other content pages is gray, which is good. So the thing we're going to focus on is this tab layout color. So to do that, there's a couple ways to do it. A simple way to change it is if you actually just come up into the shell itself. In the shell, if you just say flyout background color, you can set that here. So from what we did before, we're going to use the same color theme. So all you have to do is you copy and paste that here. So now the flyout background color will be correct. So now let's again reload that application. So hot reload won't reload this because it's in the shell file, just so you know why I'm actually not using hot reload right now. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the C# code that's behind to actually change values and colors that are in front of it, because right now we're just using the XAML type of code. So before I do that though, if you can tell right here, our about, browse, and logout, the background of these actual list itself is white, so we can come down here and change that. So to change that, all we're going to have to change is the label itself. So if we come down to background color, flyout item, label style, you got your visual state setters, and they get the background color. So this would be each item that's on that list. So for instance, if I change this to gray, let's see if it uploads, if it updates. See, it does not update, so we're going to have to actually change it and resave. So I'm going to change this value here. I'm going to paste that in, save, reload. So once that reloads, this is still going to be in dark mode, so we should be able to go right to that tab and see if we change the background. So it did, it changed each item in the list. So you can go around and change any of these colors, like this blue or this blue header, however you want to do it, or buttons, but for now I'm just going to keep this video shorter and only show you how to change those. But it's as simple as changing your values to app theme binding, or your colors to app theme binding, and have a light and dark. So now let's actually go into make a new change here. So what I want to do is on this about page, I want to put a label here that if you're in dark mode, let's make it one color, and if you're in light mode, we'll make it another color. And that'll be done using C#. So if we go into our views and we want to go into our about page XAML, let's create our label first. So let's go right above the button, let's make a new label. Let's call it a X name, call it a label color, and we're going to set the text equal to let's test the background colors. And then from here we will change the font size to make it big so you can see it. We'll use medium. And that's all. So if I save this, it should hot reload. Let's test the background colors. There you go. So that's what we'll be looking at. I'm going to make that large so we can really see it on the screen. Save. There we go. So what I want to do is unload, or when we change our app settings to dark mode or light mode, when you go to this page, this should change colors. So let's go to the code behind. So all you do for that is let's go to about page XAML.cs. So I want to make this, instead of on the first initialization, we'll only do this on appearing. So in about page, let's add a protected, I'm going to stop the program. Let's add a protected override void on appearing. Sorry about that. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so I'm not worried about, we don't even have to do the base dot on appearing for this one. So now let's show you how you actually can check the operating system on the device. That's how what dark mode or light mode you're on, so what mode you're on. So to do that, you just do OS app theme Oops, sorry, I got it backwards here. You actually don't want the OS app theme. You're actually going to look at the application. So it's application dot current. So that's your current application. And then in here, under current, you can look at the requested theme. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually set this as color of page. So on appearing, we're going to see what the color of a page is by using this application.current.requested theme. As you can tell, the documentation is still to be added for this, so you're not going to be able to see anything on that. Another tip is if you hold down Control and click an item like requested theme, and you come over to where it's highlighted, you can actually click the plus button and you can read what was put in the program itself to describe it. As of now, nothing was added to the documentation here, so you don't have to worry about it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It'll just say if the current application theme is dark or light. So now we have that value. We just want to say when this loads, we're going to see if it's dark or if it's light, and then if it is, we're going to set that color. So let's do a simple if statement. So we're going to say if color of page equals, so the color of page is of type OS theme color of page. OS app theme color, or OS app theme is the type. So if we click that, you can see unspecified 0, light is 1, and dark equals 2, but we can just say the verbiage of it if we want. So all we have to do is write OS app theme dot and then dark or light. So we'll check if it's light for this example, and if it is light, we're going to set it the label color. So as you can see here, it actually reads that the about page is connected to the about page at XAML.cs. You can actually see that I put in this label color in the IntelliSense. So I'll show you that again. Label color, so it is here. I'm going to set that equal to what color I want it to be. So let's say color dot and then, I don't know, red. Alright, so now I'm just saying the label color is colored out red, so it's confused, right? So you actually have to say what wants to be red, so I forgot to add dot, and then we want to make the text red. So, and not even the text, it's the text color. Messed it up 3 times. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to just do a simple else statement and make it another color if we are in dark mode. Let's make it orange. And that's it. So now on appearing of this page, I'm going to put a breakpoint in here and do debugging so you can watch how that code works. We change from light to dark mode. So as you can tell, it's going to load in dark mode, so that's where we're going to start, and then I'll switch it to light mode and we'll watch it walk through the code. Alright, so here we are. It's on loading. It's appearing this first page, so we have a var color of page application.current.requested theme, so we want to find what the color of page is. So if you click F12, you'll step to the next line. So color of page is OS app theme .dark. So it's tough to see that, but if you hover your mouse over the color of page or whatever value you want to read while you're in debug mode, it'll actually just show it on the screen. So now we're as you see on the screen, it's dark theme, and that's correct. Alright, so now we're just going to set that label color. It's very simple. So OS app theme is dark, not light, so it's going to hit this else. It's going to change the label color to orange. So now if you open up the app, it should be orange, which it is, so it is working. So now we're just going to change the color to light mode. So shut off dark theme. I'm going to click on the app again, so it's appearing again, so that's why this is changing. You can program this in however you want, but this is just a simple way to do it. So now color a page, if we hover over it, should say light, which it does. So it's going to go into this if loop. It's going to change the color to red instead of orange. And then when I load it, you'll see that the color is red. You'll notice that the text color here has gone away. It's because the text on the app shell page is white throughout this document, so you just would have to change that to being a dark color for your light mode so you can actually read what's on the screen. So that's it. You should be able to, at this point, know how to use the light and dark themes in an Android and iOS device using Xamarin.Forms. If you have any comments or questions, please comment below, and if you like this content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Have a good day.